Okay, so in today's lesson, we are talking about 5 things that you need to do before you take or even book your IELTS exam. So I've been helping IELTS test takers get ready for the exam since 2010, and I always go over these 5 things with every single one of my students. So let's get started. So the very first thing that you have to do is check which test you need to take, all right? So there are 2 different versions of the IELTS exam. You have IELTS General Training and IELTS Academic. So if you want to study at university level in English, generally you would have to take the IELTS Academic test. If you want to move or to migrate to an English-speaking country like Canada, Australia, England, generally, you would have to take the IELTS General Training exam, okay? However, it is up to you to find out which test you need because the requirements are different for every country, for every university, for every program, for every company. So make sure that you double check which test is required according to the reason why that you're taking it, okay? As well, you need to decide between the paper-based exam and the computer-based exam. You have 2 different options. The content of the tests themselves are the same, just the way that you take them is different, okay? So you do one on paper and you do one on the computer. Both versions of the test your listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And again, the content of them would be the same, okay? One of the differences to keep in mind is how long it takes to get your results. So if you choose to go with the computer-based test, you can get your results in 5 to 7 days. But if you go with a paper-based test, you have to wait 13 days for your results. So that's just something to keep in mind. So once you have decided whether you're going to do the IELTS Academic or the IELTS General Training, you also need to know what score you need, all right? So the marking scheme for IELTS is called a band score, and the test is marked from a band score of 0 being the lowest to 9 being the highest. So a band score of 0 is if you literally don't do the test at all, you don't do anything, you don't even try, okay? And a band score of 9 is if you are an expert user, you have an excellent command of the English language, all right? So you can get from 0 to 9, and you can also get half marks. So you can get 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, and so on, all the way up to 9, okay? Now, the required band score is going to be different, again, for every university, for every country, for every company. So you need to find out what the required band score is for you. Obviously, the higher your score, the better. But again, every university, every institution, every company, every country has a minimum requirement that you must meet. Okay, so the third thing is to know your current level of English, all right? The reason that this is important is because your current level of English is basically your starting point. It is point A, okay? And the band score that you want to achieve or the band score you want to reach is point B. This is your goal. So if you understand your starting point, point A, and you understand what you need or where you're trying to go, it will make it easier for you to plan how you can get from point A to point B, okay? So knowing your English level is very important because it will affect the way that you prepare for the exam. So generally speaking, I would say that having an intermediate level or a B2 level of English is a really good starting point to start preparing for your IELTS exam. If you are a beginner or a pre-intermediate level, you might want to practice your general English more before you jump into test preparation. I'm not saying that you cannot take the exam, you just have to be realistic with yourself in terms of how much preparation you need, how much time it will take. So if you have a higher level of English, of course, it will take you a shorter time to prepare for the exam. And if you have a lower level of English, it might take you a little more time because you have to start with general English before you jump into test preparation, all right? So knowing your starting point is very, very important. You can do an assessment online to find out what your level of English is. You can have a teacher assess you if you're not sure. But again, this is just to help you have a realistic, manageable plan to get from point A to point B. Okay, so the fourth thing that you have to do is decide when your test is going to be. You can decide when your IELTS exam is going to be. It's up to you. So to find out the available dates in your area, you just have to search on Google, okay? You can do a Google search for IELTS exam dates in Dubai or the name of the city where you live, okay? And you'll get a full list. The reason it's important to have an idea of when your exam is going to be is because that way you can make a realistic study plan and a realistic preparation strategy for yourself depending on how much time you have. So if you have 2 weeks to prepare, it's very different than having 6 months or 1 year to prepare, okay? So it's important to at least keep in mind when you're planning to do the exam. You don't have to pick an exact date right away or an exact date today, but at least have an idea of when your exam is going to be, okay? And keep in mind that you will have to book your exam a few weeks in advance, so just keep that in mind. And last but certainly not least, the fifth thing that you have to do is decide how you are going to prepare for your IELTS exam, all right? So you can prepare with a private teacher, you can prepare in a group course, you can prepare using an online course. There are many different options and you have to choose the one that works best for you, okay? So you need to think about your current lifestyle, your current situation, your current schedule, okay? Are you working full-time? Do you have kids? Are you a full-time student? You need to choose a method that fits your lifestyle and doesn't stress you out and you can actually stick to it, okay? So if you are taking weekly classes or daily classes, whatever you're doing, or an online course, you need to make sure that it's something you can actually stick to. Exams are naturally stressful and preparing properly and in an organized and manageable way will help you to reduce your stress and make sure that you're actually prepared. Remember, you have to pay for the IELTS exam every time you take it, so you want to make sure that you are as prepared as you can possibly be, and deciding when the exam is going to be and then choosing a study plan and preparation strategy that actually is realistic for you will really, really help you to reduce your stress and make sure that you're ready and save you time and money of having to redo the test again and again because you rushed and you weren't ready. All right, so make sure that you decide how you are going to prepare. Choose a method or a way or an approach that works for you and works for your lifestyle, something that you can actually stick to. So there you have it, 5 things that you need to do before you take or even book your IELTS exam. Again, these are 5 points that I always discuss with my students. Every single person that I have helped get ready for the IELTS exam, we've had a discussion about these things, all right? So think about these points, make sure you're prepared, reduce your stress as much as you can, okay? So if you have any questions, leave them down below. As always, thank you so much for watching and for learning with me. Share this video with anyone you know who is getting ready for the IELTS exam, and I'll see you soon in the next one.